Welcome back to Shelter Tales. This is Connie Galley, and with me today is Kim Talltouch. We're going to be doing something very unusual today. I hope you enjoy. It's different. We've never done this before. And Kim is an animal intuitive, and she also is certified Reiki master and a shamanic practitioner. And she bought me a turkey feather. Love it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Very welcome. And I do collect feathers, so thank you a lot. So how long have you been doing what you're doing now?
Well, thank you for having me here,
Oh,
Connie.
hey, anytime. This will be fun.
I've started working with intuitive work as a Reiki practitioner, and then the rest of the shamanic practice and the animal communication just kind of evolved. So I would say in total, in a formal way, I've been doing this now for about 5 or 6 years.
5 or 6 years. How, I've seen animal intuitives on TV. There was a really famous one in South Africa that was dealing with a leopard that, you see that?
Yeah.
It was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Dealing with a black leopard, and the leopard asked the intuitive, what happened to the cubs in the next cage at the zoo where I'm from? And that just tore the zookeeper apart, because there were cubs in the next. So he had to kind of believe that. There would be no way that intuitive would know that. So the animal was communicating in some way. I know, because I have many animals, that they communicate with their eyes and with their calls and with their sounds. The first time you heard one communicating with you, it's got to be a little shocking, because it's in a different way.
It is. And the information, I believe, comes to different intuitives in different ways. You know, that you have the clairs, the clairsentient, clairvoyant, clairaudient, so how spirit brings messages. I have a little bit of a combination of everything. Mainly what I see, though, is images, because I believe that the main way that animals communicate with us intuitively, as well as with each other, is through, thoughts are energy, and energy, our thoughts form images, and then we're transferring the images back and forth. So I may get an image that pops in my head that may also be coupled with either a sound or a feeling, a sensation. If it's a physical issue that I'm concerned or I'm looking to see what's going on, I may have a pain in my leg, I may feel jittery or palpitations in my heart for anxiety or heart issue. So I would say that it comes in a number of different ways, and I think what happens is that our pets are typically sending us these images, and if we're not completely focused on that, we're like kind of just poo-pooing those away. Those images we may think are random, or we fit them into what else is going on, but we don't attribute those to maybe being some of the information that's being sent
Or
from our
passed
pets.
along. Because I have one real talker that'll she'll look at me, and we'll have a conversation. I'm like, don't know what you said, buddy, but I'm answering you. I hope it's whatever you wanted.
Sure.
Some of them are talkers, some of them are not. But this one's very intent. He'll look at you and make eye contact and tell you all about his day, I guess. So and I'm sure that's what he's doing, because it's different sounds. It's not, and I'm very attached, of course, most people are, to their animals, but also with cats, felines especially, they can get very sick and you don't know, because they hide it. So I do look and I do watch and I do listen, but I wish I were more connected in that way. So, if I had an issue where I had to put one down because she got sicker than I ever knew, faster than I ever knew, and I didn't understand that. So that was, heartbreaking. So do you do Reiki, touch healing for both people and animals?
Yes, I do.
Your place?
Yeah.
And that's at the, and you give communication workshops.
I do. I
Okay,
do. I
okay.
just, I have one scheduled coming up in February in this
Okay, and that's
area.
in Oxford. That's at your.
No, actually, I'm going to be in Suffield at Unicorn Meadow Farm.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
right around the corner from me.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you lay hands on people or an animal, do you feel? I've always been fascinated with Reiki. Do you feel hot spots? I know you don't lay hands directly on them. It's not like a massage.
No.
It is an energy where you're putting your hands above the animal or the person to get.
It's, there's two, you can do hands-on, and if you do hands-on, it's no more than the weight of a nickel. So there's no manipulation of tissue or skin. People are fully clothed, and they generally don't turn, like you do in a massage. They stay pretty much on the table, most people on their back. So, you can have the hands-on touch, or you can just kind of hover above. I mean, Reiki's an amazing thing, because it can also be sent great distances, and it can be sent to times in the past or for a future event. Because again, it's just directing energy and sending energy. So I feel that with animals, depending on the particular pet and how comfortable you are with it. If they know you, if it's my own pets, I'm hands-on.
Right,
you know, if I'm doing Reiki on a pet that I'm unfamiliar with, then I'm going to start at a very safe place, you know.
To get them to trust you.
Yeah, and just see if they want it. You know, they may not want it. You know, it's something that you really can't force. So, and the sensations that you get when you're doing Reiki vary, because some people are medically intuitive with their Reiki. I've seen people be able to pick out a medical disorder, like nail it, you know, just pinpoint what's going on. Most people will get either a sensation, or they'll feel, and working with pets or animals, they may feel, again, what I was talking about a little earlier, where they may feel nauseous, and they know it's not their nausea, and they'll say to the individual, do you have stomach issues? Or if it's a pet, are there stomach problems, digestive issues? So the information can come a number of ways.
It's getting
through
more
that Reiki.
recognized
It
today,
is.
because I know one of the hospitals, I had a friend who trained for Reiki, I think it's St. Francis, has them
Yes.
come in. So, you know, in the medical establishment, for years it was woo-woo. They're starting to recognize this, so it is something that works.
Yeah, the Hartford Hospital's had a program. They've
Hartford
done
too?
a
Okay.
research program up there with, I believe, pregnant women with, again, nausea and discomfort.
yeah.
And the results of, you know, before and after are like 80%. I mean, it's crazy, the number of people who reported.
The numbers,
that said that they felt
And let's
relief.
face it, when you want to throw up, you want to throw up, so there's no way of faking.
That's it.
No, I feel fine.
Yeah.
Your morning sickness is no joke. Do you find that in the animal kingdom, and I've talked to somebody else about this, they find that horses are probably the most spiritual and most accepting of that kind of thing? Is it because they're groomed all the time? Do you think that's
I work with horses a
touched
lot.
all the time?
I think by nature they are just very sensitive animals, and I think when you look at the history of the domestication of horses and our relationship with them, I mean, it's unlike our dogs and our cats. People ride horses. I mean, you have that
It's a
total
utilization.
connection. Yes, so they're a service animal, and we owe them a great deal, because, you know, without the horse, you know,
Wouldn't be heading west or
yeah, exactly.
anything
You know,
to
and what it did, you know, just for transportation,
Right,
you know.
right.
But there's a much deeper connection with horses because of that body contact and the trust. You know, if you're riding a horse, it can buck you in a heartbeat, and you know you're in a world
You're
of
in a
trouble.
problem, yeah.
So I think that they tend to, but there's also a lot of work being done with horses in terms of being healers themselves. And I have articles that people have, I've read that where people have actually attuned the horses to be Reiki practitioners. And then they do Reiki healings.
Yeah.
The horse will actually, you know, come around.
Around
And so, you know, there's people as Reiki practitioners, and then both of my cats are
Well, they're
Reiki
using
attuned.
animals in therapy now. They're using a lot of animals in therapy. I asked the question because there's a winery up in Granby, Lost Acres Vineyard, that has 2 horses on the property. And no matter when I go, if that one of the horses is out, he's got to come see me. I mean, they don't want you to be, they put a ring of rocks. They don't want you to go over to the stables, you know, because I guess people were feeding the horses or something, the wrong things. But this horse has an immense interest in me for some reason. He just, and you know, I rode a horse maybe twice in my life, but, and I stand there behind the rocks and I say to my husband, I want to go pet him. And I don't want to, you know, trespass. It's not my thing. But the last time I met you was in another situation, and you were reading some animals. So I have some animals here that I'd like you, and we're going to have to cut back and forth because some of the people in the studio are behind the camera, and we're going to ask questions about their animals. So, you know, if Kim's on target or not. So I'm going to give you that first. This is Howard's pup.
And what is this dog's name?
Rocky.
Rocky. How old's Rocky?
About 6.
Is Rocky an only pet?
He is now.
Okay. How long have you had Rocky?
Since he was 1.
Okay, so you're the only family. Are there any particular issues or concerns you have with Rocky?
No.
Okay. Rocky's very content. He's telling me he tries to be a good boy, but sometimes that doesn't quite happen.
Is that right?
Very true.
It's almost like he gets ahead of himself. And then if something happens, there's a great deal of remorse, but it could have easily been avoided. So he's got to slow himself down a little bit. And I also feel that although he's 6 years old, there's very much a puppy quality to him. And you're kind of waiting for when he's going to grow up a little bit. But he's gonna keep that quality, I think, which is a good thing because that keeps his perspective. He has the exercise routine that you've had with him changed a little bit.
It changes in the winter.
Yeah, he's already feeling that.
Yeah.
So you might need to. I'm going to assume that what I'm getting is it slows down. It slows down. So to keep him in that good boy state that he wants to be in, you might want to just try to find some other ways to burn off some energy with him. Otherwise, he is prone to getting himself jammed up and doing things he shouldn't be doing. I see him kind of like walking around, like, what can I get into? Like kind of scoping stuff out. He listens to you, though. He is very obedient, but you kind of have to stay on top of him a little bit. I'm just kind of scanning to see. I'm not picking up any significant health issues. He's not on any medication of any kind. Do you have him on supplements of some kind or something?
Well, he's on a raw diet.
Okay, then that's okay. That's working for him. Whatever you're doing is working for him physically. Are you thinking about getting another pet?
We are planning to get more dogs, but not till the
Okay, because he's looking for that. He needs, he's good with other animals, and that's another way that, of course, would help him burn off some of that energy too, because he's like, when's it happening? When's it happening? He's ready. He's very ready. Do you want to balance that with him though? Because I think the longer that he is without competition or a companion, then he's going to be very comfortable with that, and won't want to share as much as. But he is very much looking forward to having another pet in the household. He's very loyal and very protective, but not in an aggressive kind of way. He doesn't see it as aggressive, but there could be an issue that you would have some concerns with.
I always tell people when they come over, just don't touch him for the first minute.
Yeah.
Just let him smell you, and then he'll be fine.
That's exactly. So again, it's not aggressive, but it's guarded.
Yeah.
He's guarded, and that's not a bad thing either. But he really, I see him like just kind of working your home, and he's kind of always very vigilant. And you may not even realize it. Sometimes you think he isn't, but he is. Like he sleeps with one eye open. He's always making sure that everything's status quo. But he's appropriate. Now, does he have contact with children?
Yes.
Yeah, he's good with kids.
Yes. My kids.
But I was going to say, but they make him. Some children make him nervous. He doesn't know what to do, but he's. It's a curiosity that he has, and he also thinks that all children are like your children, in terms of how they might treat him or handle him, and he really that's not a good thing because some children are very rough or very inappropriate. So, I wouldn't say that he's naive. I guess that comes along a little bit with the immaturity that he has, but it takes him a little bit to get something, but when he does, it's solidified. He also can have some tendencies of either getting himself in a behavioral loop that's hard for him to break. I want to say, like, not OCD. I hate to put human attributes on animals, but like fixated. If he's got something of interest, if he's fixating on a toy or something where he's 100%, and you almost kind of have to like pull him out of it.
Yes.
And that would be something too as he ages that you would want to watch and just be mindful of, because as the aging process comes along and things slow down, that if he starts to get unhealthy or have some issues, then he could get into a little bit of a loop of some funky thinking. But he's a very happy boy. Did you get him from a breeder?
No, there was a lady who he got too big for, and the place where she stayed, she couldn't keep him, so she had trouble placing him. But once he saw me, he was just wagging his tail. So I took him.
Yeah.
You're 7 feet tall. You could control him, for heaven's sakes.
He just knew that was what was meant to be. He's just very content. He doesn't have any concerns. I'll ask if there's anything that they're looking for or lacking. He is in a great place. Of course, he's very bonded to you, but there's also somebody else in the family that he's very bonded to.
Probably my son.
Yeah, I was going to say Mel. And he looks at that at your son as a they're on the same level, like they're not like your dad, and so that puts you here. But they're like they grow up together. Yeah. They're like siblings almost. And he's going to help him. He already has helped him a lot, your son, in a lot of ways. In just patience, and that caring about somebody other than yourself, kind of a thing. So, have you ever had cats? How is it?
We never personally owned cats, but there was a cat who lived in the basement, and the mother died, so we were trying to find a place to place the kittens. And he wasn't aggressive towards them, but he was just so big and wanted to play.
Yeah.
So we had to kind of keep him away from him, but he didn't want to hurt them.
No, it was like you said. It was like a play, like a toy. Yeah. It was like a little stuffed toy,
squeaky toy.
Yeah, like a squeaky toy. Because if you didn't have cats, I was going to say, is there a cat toy or a stuffed animal or something?
It's a toy that he only that's the only toy he will play with.
And is it a cat? It's
a big red. It's the only toy that we could find in the store that he won't destroy. Like it's a 2-year-old toy. Usually toys last a week in our house, but this one toy is squishy. You can play with it, and
it's his special.
My son played with it.
Okay. Yeah, he has a funny sense of humor. Like he makes you laugh. He does very kind of silly things, and it's not accidental. He knows exactly what he's doing, and he adds a lot of levity to the family. So he puts himself like in the center, and then everybody kind of spokes around him. He sees himself as the center of the family, which is exactly where he wants to be. And there's not any pressure there at all. Now I'm seeing him, he's showing me him on a leash, and I'm not seeing like a really kind of iffy with a leash.
He's not iffy with the leash. He knows when the leash comes out, it's time to go for a walk.
Okay.
He loves
Does he pull you? I'm seeing like he's got some behavior issues on the leash.
On leash, yes. With me, not so much, but it's still there. Anyone else can't walk.
Okay, that's yeah. That's kind of a little game for him. Yeah, he knows very well he's doing that. It's a little game. But he is very happy. He's very happy. He's very content. I'm seeing him around food dishes, which tells me that there's food motivation, and that you've got the raw food going. Do you give him some kind of treats, something that is not part of his regular food?
We do give him treats, but they're sparing because we have to make them.
Yeah.
So when we do, then it's more like training time, almost.
Yeah.
So he has to do stuff for it.
Yeah, because he wants more of those.
And he's quick to do whatever you tell him.
Yeah, I'm seeing like a bowl full of special treats so that, you know, he's like more and more and more. But again, if you did that, he would run through it. You know, he wouldn't appreciate, you know, so you know, you have to keep it. But so the raw food, did that come about as digestive issues?
No, my first dog, I used to feed him regular food, and then me being me, I like to research stuff and found the raw diet and stuck with that with my first dog and saw a big health benefit in him. So since I've had Rocky, it's always been the raw food thing.
Because I think you've prevented some issues, either digestive or skin.
Yes,
that-
skin was a big concern
Yeah.
of mine. Because when I first got him, he has, I don't know if it's like an allergy, but one of his eyes runs a little bit. Take him to the vet, and they really haven't given me anything for it. So I just stick with the diet and give him certain things, and it has cleared up.
Sure. Yeah, I'm feeling that he's in, like, there's a very good physical balance with him, that, you know, everything is just where, but that could be upset very easily, you know, so what he's looking for would be more treats, but it is what it is. It is
That's
what
a
it
good
is.
reading, Howard. That's a good reading, and he's a happy, happy boy.
He is. He's very
So
content.
good,
He's very much a
good.
part of the family.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, we're going to move on to
Great.
the next one.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Howard. This is Jenny. Jenny, over there, that's her cat. He is still with us. All animals we're presenting are on this side of the Rainbow Bridge.
Good.
We've all lost a lot of them, though.
So how old is Kitty, Jenny?
He's 9 months.
9 months. And what's his name?
Diego?
Only pet?
Yes.
Rescue?
Stuart?
Oh, no, no.
Stuart died?
No.
Stuart, oh my God, Stuart! I love you, Stuart.
No, he's not an
Yeah,
old-
they have one other.
A cat?
Yes.
Okay. And how old's Stuart?
6.
Okay, so Stuart was around a long time before Diego came along. And is Diego a rescue?
Yes.
Yeah, very handsome. So what I'm getting with Diego is that there is a contrast between he and Stuart, very much. And I mean, he's young too, so there's that. But personality-wise, they are opposite ends of the spectrum. And right now he's, I don't want to say a handful, but he's very active, very active. Like, into everything, things you didn't even think that would happen. And it's like, you know, you never had to deal with that with Stuart.
Oh, does that sound familiar? I talked her into adopting from this second, so I always get, thank you, honey.
But with that comes a very bright cat, very bright and very focused. So have you tried to train him at all? Are you? Yeah, because
He fetches.
okay, I'm seeing that there's like this, but sometimes he doesn't.
It's Jenny's dog cat, actually.
But you know, I think he's in that way. I think that he's very trainable. You know, cats are not quite as trainable as they are, but it's just different methods. And he keeps you on your toes, very much so, which is okay. Except there's times you just don't want to deal with it, and like I see him getting in things that you're like, really? So, but did you have, I'm sorry, should have asked you, did you have any particular questions or issues that you wanted to focus on in particular? Okay.
No, she's stuck with him.
Well, you know, you may not realize it, but he's going to have a bigger purpose with you. So right now, you're going through his growing pains, but it's also, it's going to level out, and then there's going to be something that he's going to be very specific with you on. Well, was he being passed by in the shelter? Was there?
I don't know if he was being passed by. He was pretty young. He was pretty young. No, it was just, this isn't a particular shelter. This is the Enfield Community Cat Project, so they
Okay.
have to place cats in foster or at PetSmart. Did you get him at PetSmart,
No.
or you went right to the foster?
The foster.
Right
foster.
to the foster, and I think he was given up with his mother and his siblings by an owner. He wasn't
A street cat.
wasn't
Yeah,
a
yeah.
cat.
Yeah, but I'm getting a sense that it was a good that there was for some reason he wasn't. I don't want to say that like there was a little bit of a label on like the foster, like a little bit of a label was like, oh, that one, that one gets into there, that one, that kind of a thing. But that just wasn't that foster situation. Certainly helped him a great deal, but it wasn't where he was supposed to be. So he feels he's exactly where he's supposed to be. Whether you like it or not, he's exactly where he's supposed to be. And again, he is very bright. Like I actually see him problem solving. One of the things that you might want to think about with him to keep him sufficiently stimulated is any kind of toys that also require him to problem solve. You'll see like the cat toys that have like something going and they got to try to figure out how to get it out. He likes to keep himself mentally busy. And if he isn't, then he's going to find ways to do that. And does he terrorize Stuart at sometimes? Yeah. Because I think that's part of that. And sometimes Stuart's okay with it and other times it's like I can see Stuart like just kind of mellow and hanging out and all of a sudden he's like on it and it's like rolling and so you just got to kind of keep on top of him, but he has some big plans. You're not thinking of any more? You're good with the two?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think that he would have an issue with that, right? Yeah. He likes to be the center of everything. He has to be the center of attention. He has to be whatever you're doing, he's in the middle of. And some of that is his age, but there's also some of that is just how he is. So he's worked it out with Stuart where there's an understanding. And Stuart knows, if Stuart knows you better and knows how to work you that works for him. And, so he's holding his own with it. But Diego is going to be... he's a very special cat, and he's going to, I keep getting that there's a bigger purpose, a bigger, that it's not just that you have another cat, that there's, there's going to be some purpose to you having him, and it's not just that you want another cat in companionship. There's lessons. Patience is one.
There you go. He's training you for patience.
Patience
Jenny.
is one of them.
This is a cat that hid from her for how many? 3 weeks?
3 weeks.
Now she goes, and now he's all in my stuff. So he adjusted.
Yeah, that's, it's funny. He's like, he's not even showing me that. That's like a part that he doesn't even want to go to. The foster situation, were there a lot of other pets in that house?
2 siblings of his. From his
Okay.
mother, yeah.
That's interesting because this is a very self-confident cat. He's and maybe that's just been, that he's come into his own during this time. How old was he when you got him?
3 months.
3 months, so that's standard time. And I think what's happened too is that you have the environment you have him in has given him the chance to be who he is. You let him be this. I don't think that he was, there was more control or more constraint, and that that needs to happen. But with this particular cat, he needed to flourish. And that's what he's doing now. So he's really kind of like, I'm seeing like a flower that's just, he's just blooming and he's just, opening it and opening. And he's going to, as I said, he's going to be providing you with lessons. I don't think that it's anything that's, right away. I think it's coming down the road and it's going to be something that is a path that you're looking to take that is kind of different from where you are, at that present time. and he's going to help usher you into some decision making. And so again, there's very much a purpose to, he's not just a companion for you, he has a purpose. And it's a much greater purpose. He has I'm hearing like a very distinctive type of a meow, or a vocalization that's kind of unique to him.
It talks.
Yeah.
I've never had a cat that talks
Yeah.
this much before.
And it even, I mean, I know like some, when cats are doing certain things, they'll have a certain meow, but his meow will even change his vocalization as he's in it, like like conversational. So it'll even shift up and down. So it's not just a flat meow or a little chirp. It comes and goes. He's really very, very vocal and very much expressing himself. And I see him looking at you like, why don't you? Yeah, why don't you know what this means? Because it is very, there's almost kind of keep track or a little bit of a log of certain vocalizations because they're very deliberate. And he is trying, to get something across. Excitement, frustration, those are always standard, but sometimes he does it, I kind of see him walking around the house and just, meowing and
He's
it's not,
he's wandering by himself.
He's just he's just like
Must
checking
be thinking
out
about something.
but he's and again that's he's very bright. He's very, very bright, and he, believe it or not, though, he and Stuart do have a very good working relationship, and Stuart is going to be a great influence. If it doesn't seem that he is now, he will be. He's going to look to Stuart for not so much like a role model in behavior. So does Stuart have some quirky behaviors?
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully it's not those. But they are really very complementary in their personalities, even though it's night and day. But they're going to, when he kind of gets out of this kitten stuff that he's got and he comes into his own and he settles in, you're going to see a shift in their relationship as well, and it's going to be a positive one. But and also very content. All right, so when they show me a throne, either they have a very special place or seat that they like to go, or they figure that they are the king, the prince.
And I do believe
the
you
ruler.
said that he rules your household.
Yeah, the ruler.
One of the,
So if there's not a specific seat that's a throne, then it's that I'm just the king. So and also I'm getting like that lion, like that pride, that this is just a very. Now you have windows. He doesn't go outdoors, correct? Do you have windows where he can see what's going on around? Because I see him in those windows, and I see him being a wonderful hunter in his head. Birds, squirrels, whatever. If you had a mouse in the house, he'd be all over it. But he practices. He goes through those, and then he'll bring it back into the house with toys, and he'll be the great hunter with the mouse or whatever. But
Toys everywhere in our house. He brings toys everywhere.
really? He carries them?
Hunter all
Yeah.
upstairs.
Really?
It's filled with toys. I have to bring them down every morning.
I have one of those too.
Toy
Like
box.
I step on them and it's like, oh my God, what did I just step on? But that's, if you ever have a mouse problem, this is
You
going to
won't.
be a mouser. But so he does keep himself stimulated as well by being aware of what's going on outside, and that's important for him too. I don't see Stuart doing that as much. This is his thing. I can see him like almost going from window to window, like as something, a bird flies by, he's on it, and he's in pursuit, which is good because that does keep him busy, during the day, and in the summer it's a good thing too, particularly squirrels. Are there a lot of squirrels can you see squirrels in your yard?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So they. He says they taunt him.
They taunt him.
Taunt him. I don't know if they get close or that
It's
they
not
just.
me, Mom. It's the squirrels.
So he's got this. So he definitely fancies himself a hunter, even though he doesn't have access to real kill. And again, just a problem solver. He really is he's always thinking. Now, would you like him to be a little more cuddly?
Yes.
Yeah.
To me.
Yes.
Cuddly to others.
That's part of him working into what your relationship about. That is not any reflection that he does not feel it's not that he doesn't feel affection for you. There's a purpose to that, and there's something else going on with that, and I'm not quite sure what that is, but he does want you to know that that's not, that you're not inviting, and that he doesn't want to cuddle. But he says he does show you in a different way, though. So he may not be in your lap, kind of hanging with you when you're watching TV, but he says he shows you his affection in another way. He's very like headbutt. He headbutts you. So that's that's how he's connecting with you. And your role is very clear with him. He knows that you're mom. There's not you're not a peer. You're not on the same level. He knows where that you're the one who calls the shot and controls the food. So I'm getting food motivated but picky.
Definitely food motivated.
But doesn't just eat anything though.
I don't know. He wants more.
Okay.
Whatever he wants.
It's never good enough.
Okay. Okay then. Okay.
This is it.
Yeah. I worked all day. I come home to this.
And do you give him like food treats, like meat or something along those lines?
My daughter does.
Yeah, because he's liking that. And
Does he cuddle with your daughter more than you? Right.
But that I do feel though at some point down the road, not now, that food can be an issue for him. So either being overweight or allergies or something related to a diet. So you need to just keep an eye on that with him, because I can see that there's potential for a food related disorder or problem, or even behavioral. Like getting, pushy, really pushy with food. But he's very, very happy. He's very, very content. And that's the thing I always like to ask them, are they content? Do they feel safe? And do they feel secure? Because I think that's something that we tend to forget with our pets, that they feel safe in our homes and in the life that they have, and that he does. He feels very well cared for. I've seen combs for grooming. Does that happen easily, or is
It's a toy. It's a toy.
okay? But he likes it, but not for
Not for the
you get
purpose.
like a couple of quick strokes in. So timing is everything with that. But that is also even though he's considering it a toy, it's a very bonding thing. As far as it does go, it's something that he feels that he's able to bond with. Is that something your daughter does with him? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how old is your daughter?
23.
Oh wow! Because I'm getting a younger. I would have said like teens, because that's where there's more the contemporary feel, almost like a not one up, like a one up. I want to say that they one up each other, but does that make sense to you? Okay.
Can you explain that to me later? Can you explain that to me later?
Okay. Because I'm like a one up. I'm like, I don't know that. I'm not sure what to do with that. All right. So that you know what that means then. And do you have other children?
Grown children.
But anybody else that is active in his life?
My husband.
Okay. Do they play?
He thinks so.
Okay. Because I'm getting like a children play kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, so what I'm seeing is he has different hats for everybody in the family. He can almost be a different cat with whoever he's interacting with. And part of that is that that because that's what he feels he needs to do, and then he's bringing the complete experience to each individual. But for him, that secures him almost. That almost gives him some, because he can work this one and he can work that one, So it's again, it's very smart to be able to be these different. Wear these different hats when he needs to. It's a survivor trait, okay? If I need to be warm and cuddly, I'll be warm and cuddly. If I need to be aloof, I can do that.
When I knock Mom's wine over, I can run to Dad. Right? 'Cause he did.
So, he's very much, and it takes some work to be able to figure that out, especially for such a young cat. And I do feel that what he was doing in those first few weeks where he was taking it all in and he was assessing. So, he may have been hiding where you guys weren't seeing him, but he was downloading and he was figuring out what he needs to do to make this situation work because he is very bright. And he's just, he's a lot of fun. He, when he's not annoying, then he can be fun and he can keep things very light for you guys. So.
Well, thank you for that.
You're
We got a few more minutes. I got one more for you to do, and then we can talk about how people can get in touch with you.
Sure. Okay, so now, is this Kitty?
This is Peppy.
Peppy.
P-E-P-E.
Is this a shelter cat?
It was a shelter cat. Yes, he was.
How old? He's,
I don't know because I didn't know when I'm not his first person. I would say about 3 or 4.
Because what I'm getting with this cat is an old soul. Just a very old soul.
Yeah.
And then usually, when that happens, there's usually a sense of calm or just balance, but I'm getting a little bit out of balance with him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he's really, really trying to regain balance. Did he have some, you don't know his history in terms of, was there a street, was he on?
I believe he was on the street,
Yeah.
and then he was taken in, adopted by somebody. They had to move, and so he had to be put back in another shelter, readopted. So he did have a lot of changes.
Yeah, and every time he feels that he gave his all to those situations, and it wasn't enough.
Mm-hmm.
So, so he's really trying to again, balance is the key with him. Now he's in your home.
He's in
with
my
you.
home.
Okay. And you have other.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He had a little. How long have you had him?
I've had him so if he's 4, I've had him about 2 years.
Okay. And I still feel that there's adjustments, that it's constantly, it's a constant effort for him. He has to work on it.
It is an effort, yeah.
Things were a little rough for him when he first came into the household. Initially, it was that, when's the other shoe going to drop? When the multiple rehomings, that's certainly not uncommon. But the last time around, he put up a little bit of a wall. A protective wall for himself. Right. So that wall is still slowly coming down. And I think he's going to come around. Does he have any health issues?
I'm not sure. He's very thin, and I just started talking about taking him. No matter what we feed him the same as the other cats. And my husband keeps saying, well, he's healthy, but he is thin. So I'm thinking about getting him to the vet.
I'm thinking that there's just something going on with him. I don't like something. I don't know, systemic diabetes, thyroid, something maybe along those lines. His teeth okay?
Yeah, they seem to be. Yeah.
Then I think that there could be something. I feel that it's something that's certainly correctable, but there is something going on with him because for such a young cat, he feels frail.
He looks frail. I pick him up and he's bony, and I'm like, I don't, but he eats. He'll eat, he'll drink, he'll eat snacks, and
but there's this frailty, and there's so the balance issue that he has going on right now. That's also something that he wants to bring to you as well in finding balance. he's saying like that's something that you can both help find. You can both help each other
Oh
with.
boy.
So, but he, so he has adjusted, but I don't know if you feel that he's adjusted or not.
No, we call him the ghost cat. And but
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that because when he comes running into the living room and looks at me, he'll get on my lap and I'm like, oh my gosh, where did this come from?
Yeah.
But he can't settle. He'll be up, down, up, down, up,
Yeah.
down, up, down. And then he'll take off, but it's just like 5 seconds and hi,
That's
and I
what-
pet
yeah.
him and then he goes away. So I just feel like he's just not getting his share of attention,
Well, and he's completely owning it. He's saying this is not you guys. This is him. That he's got these issues and he's in the right environment to sort them through. But it is taking him a little bit of time. Now, how many other cats do you have?
3 other cats
3
in the
other
household.
cats. I feel that he segregates himself from them.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
And there's no fighting. It's
no,
not-
but so he puts off a vibe to them almost as well. But it's not the like the wounded, weak one. It's almost like they get him and they just kind of let him.
They let him alone.
They let him be because he's just still kind of sorting things out. Did you ever feel that he reminded you of a pet you've had before in the past?
No, I never had a tuxedo. Never had a tuxedo. I just
In personality rather than appearance? And it could have have you always had cats? It could
Always.
Okay, because it
so
doesn't
many.
necessarily have to be
Yeah,
a cat.
yeah.
It could have been a dog, a horse.
No,
a
I've
hamster.
always had mostly friendly
Yeah.
cats, at least friendly with me. And he was just terrorized not terrorized. He was terrified when he came to my
Yeah.
house. Terrified and excreting inappropriately. We finally got that fixed.
yeah.
But like scared where he stood. I mean, he went up to one of my cats to make an introduction. She hissed and he peed all the way down the chair through the
Yeah.
because he was terrified. He actually urinated out of fear.
Yeah, yeah.
And I had to go clean it. So, he's much better. Much better.
Yeah,
now,
he's
much
it's
better.
still, and it's going to take him a while, but because he's constantly striving for balance, there also could be, if there is something physical going on with him, that can certainly contribute to it or help him. If he's feeling that he's physically off, then he's less likely to want to be part of everybody else. So, but he's extremely cautious because he's had to be. And I do feel, though, that he has had some really rough
I think so.
experiences.
I think
There's
so.
been some significant trauma here. And also possibly, being taken away or being separated from his mother very early.
Okay.
So there can be some social issues, not proper socialization from that end of the things that we don't even realize that mother cats teach
Right.
kittens. But he's telling me that underneath and inside there is this bright light that is just wanting to shine.
Oh, I think
And-
he's got the most beautiful soul out of all my cats.
absolutely.
Yeah, I do.
That's why, and that's the first thing I saw him
Yeah.
was the old soul.
Yeah, beautiful
that,
soul, yeah.
and so he's. With that being said, he's at odds because I almost feel like, sometimes he detaches from his body, and he kind of pulls back. It's almost like he feels like this body isn't what he wanted it to be. So he's in a physical container that's not working for him. And I only get that sense when it's a broken body, or there's physical issues. But so I don't feel he's integrated. He's kind of disjointed within himself. Okay. Do you know anybody who does Reiki with animals? There's a lot of people up here.
Well, you mentioned Unicorn Farm. He's, and I hate to say this and use this word, he is such a freak that I have a hard time even getting him anywhere near a vet. You know what I mean? He just, I swear he knows I'm going to take him.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
And
Sure.
then he hides, and
Sure.
I cannot find him in my house.
Isn't that
we go under
amazing?
couches. He
Yeah.
hides. I don't know where he goes.
You can have if you have somebody in the area who will come out, and I do know somebody I can tell you
Okay.
who's in Farmington. That's not too
Okay,
far
that's
from
not
here, and I believe she does. She doesn't have to be even in the same room with him.
Okay.
But I do feel that balance that he's getting is an energetic balance as well.
Okay.
And if he can kind of be brought back in with some energy work, that could possibly help him, and certainly to, stress him, or to help with the stress level. Because I do feel that he is, there's a lot of anxiety that doesn't need to be there.
Yeah, he's a very anxious kitty.
Yeah.
It was funny the other day, I thought, you're coming along, because he was sitting on the dining room chair under the tablecloth, so I couldn't see him. And by accident, I was wrapping gifts and dropped a book, and it hit his backside. And he protested, but he didn't move. I'm like, good for you, boy. He like, what the? He yelled at me, but he didn't move. Other than that, he would have skittered and clung to the ceiling like even a year ago. He just complained to me like to be a little more careful, but he stayed in place.
He watches you. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
he watches everything you do.
Big eyes, and he watches me.
And it's not like watching you because he's afraid of you or what are you going to do next. It's not that at all. He's very hooked into you. He knows that you have the answers for him, that you can help him along. So, maybe starting with some energy work with him to just kind of balance him out a little bit. But he is coming along, and he's just asking you to just be, you're letting him do exactly what he needs to do. And I don't think many other people would do that. And
it's like, go guy, he's the ghost cat. When he wants affection, I give him affection. And I was shocked that he ran into the bedroom the other day. He never comes in the bedroom, jumped on the bed and just looked down at me. I don't know what that was about. He jumped off and left. But he's starting to do more things that he never did before.
Just send him, when you see him, kind of off in that distant place, and you're around, or you feel that he's watching you, clear your mind from whatever it is that you're thinking about, which is not easy. We got so much going on.
Monkey chatter up there.
And exactly. And just focus on sending him light and love from your heart to his, and just keep doing that, and just telling him that you don't want anything from him. You don't, because I almost feel like it's all good now, but when is it? When are they going to want something
He's had
from
a lot
me?
Of changes.
Tons
of changes.
If you just continue to send him that we want nothing from you, we expect nothing from you. There's almost like he's expecting the shoe to drop. Something's going to happen, and of course, time is really. He's going to have to see that that's not going to be, an issue but through time. But he's really trying, and he's very much hooked in.
He's coming in. Well, the good thing, I am going to go to the vet, because I've been talking about it. I was like, he's thin. He eats just as much as the others. And my husband said, well, he's the healthy one, because the other one's overeat. But I do want to take him and get a baseline.
I think there's something going on with him that could, when addressed, could actually help him with adjustment
the other situation.
Too. Because if he's not feeling really well, then and he's emotionally scarred, then that just is going to compound any work you want to do with helping him come out of his little shell. It's a shell. He's poking through, and there's little lights.
There's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Little light coming through, but a very sweet cat.
He is. He's a doll.
He is.
He's a doll.
Just very
gets along with
nice.
everybody when he's there.
A nice guy.
No issues, But he's. Well, thank you for
You're
that.
welcome.
So in wrapping up, I just want to talk about where can people find you if they want to come looking for you, and do you have? And I have to also say, two other things I didn't address. I think I said you give communication workshops, and you mentioned one in the Unicorn Farm in Simsbury, is it?
Suffield, Unicorn Meadow Farm in Suffield.
Okay, and when is that coming up?
That's going to be on February 3rd, which is a...
That'll be great, because this runs in January.
It's Saturday. It's Saturday, I believe it's Saturday the 3rd. Whatever February is the first, it's the 3rd. And that'll be from 10 to 2. And I'm doing an animal communication workshop there. And I'll be doing another workshop there on feathers.
Okay.
In March. And other than that location, it's kind of quiet now because it's winter time.
Right.
But I can always be contacted through my website, which is www.featherstouchreiki.com.
Featherstouchreiki.com. And do you have an email, or do you have a phone number they can reach you, or you'd rather just go through?
Well, they can reach me at kim@featherstouchreiki.com.
Oh, that's easy enough.
Email,
Kim.
Or my telephone is 203-868-1528. And I do not need to be with the pet, clearly. I work out it with photos, and I also teach animal Reiki and do animal Reiki certification classes.
Animal Reiki, and you also do space clearing, so that's
do.
something we didn't talk about.
Yeah.
So there's a multitude of things if you want to reach out to Kim for, or sign up for any of the classes in Suffield. And is it back in Suffield again for March? Will you be back in Suffield?
In Suffield for
back
March.
In Suffield for March.
I also will work at Mandazi's, who's right
Mandazi's
here in
books.
Windsor.
Okay.
Mandazi's books, they have psychic fairs. I was just there
Okay.
a couple weeks ago, so
Okay.
periodically you could check their website.
So look, Mandazi's a good community member. He does
It
a lot
is,
with,
yeah.
especially with animals. He does a lot of donations
Yes.
with animals and things like that. So Mandazi's is another one. And any you have any questions about animals? I mean, she was dead on with my. As I left the house, I said to my husband, "We're going to find out what's going on with this little nut job today." But I love him dearly. So we hope this was enjoyable for you, and please do get in touch with Kim if you have any questions or want to schedule a meeting, an appointment, a fundraiser, a psychic reading, a clearing, or Reiki. And I appreciate. I'm not going to shake your hand because I'm
That's
still.
okay.
I
Thank
appreciate
you.
you coming today.
Thank you so much,
I do
Connie.
appreciate the turkey feather.
You're welcome.
I hope it didn't come from Kevin, that Weathersfield guy. That now.
No, we had 10 turkeys all summer running around
running
our
around the
yard,
yard?
and as they were molting, they were leaving us these beautiful
Well,
feathers.
that's a very intact one, so that's beautiful. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you,
a lot.
and thank
It's been
you, Howard and
interesting.
Jenny, for your pets. Thank you.
We'll see you next month with another edition.